Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Farm to Table, where we try to translate some of our clinical thinking about the mobilizations we're using, aka position transfer exercises, into why we have our athletes do themselves. How do you get the therapist out of the room? How do we have the coach and the athlete solve movement related problems? Because sometimes, as you know, as I'm here with Diane Fu, head coach of TRS, you can't just cue your athlete into a better position sometimes, all right? You do all the cues first and you're like, maybe there's still something missing.
More face.
More bigger face. Obviously you don't want it enough. So let me show you. Today we're taking on the ankle and I want to show you the mobilization I use with a lot of the work that I'm doing with my athletes and then how we translated that into getting the therapist out of the room. So Diane's on her back. And what I'm doing here is a classic mobilization of the joint capsule of the ankle. So when I'm trying to work on this restricted ankle range, and Diane's got pretty great ankle range, what I'm actually doing is I'm putting my hand below the two bones of the ankle here. So here's our medial malleolus or lateral malleolus, and my hand goes right here. What it means is the structure here in the bone, remember it's like a mortar and pestle, I'm trying to get that to glide that direction. So I try to take her end range dorsiflexion, I'm trying to glide this so I get mobilization in the ankle capsule, right? So what ends up happening is I load this up, I use my hand, and now I've got a fulcrum going here. So what's happening is I'm able to actually fulcrum over that ankle. I can take that ankle to that position of emphasis, this end range dorsiflexion here. I still keep that grip. I can control her ankle, keep it in neutral so she doesn't collapse, take the end range, and then I can move on that position. You feel that, Di? But it doesn't feel like a weird stretch. It doesn't feel like soft tissue. It feels like you're like, my ankle's moving, and it's a capsular restriction. So the key is that I'm not blocking here, putting the band up here, I'm putting my hand here. And then that's where I'm working on this position. I love it in this long lever shape. So this is my kind of go-to favorite ankle mob when I'm working on restricted ankle or trying to restore it. But come on with me, Di, because how do we get the athlete to do it herself? So what's gonna happen here is Diane's gonna slip this on, and it's again gonna go right where my hand was, right below the malleolus. So you can see in this position where it goes on her foot, there's below the two ankle bones, trying to keep this blocked so that she can glide backwards, right? So now she can even step on this to change the angle or add a little more tension to it, right? And now she can glide forward herself on encouraging that motion in there. And then the key here is that she's keeping the ankle in a decent position. What we don't want to do is encourage her to collapse, because that's the problem. We're trying to encourage that ankle to move through that motion. The ankle's like a lock and key, and if it's out of phase, it blocks. And that's where we get impingement or just blocked mechanics. So keeping the arch up, keeping the ankle in what we call subtalar neutral, even if I don't have an arch, allows that ankle to move through. So restoring that position is crucial. Now check this out. As a super coach, I can actually come over here and help Diane. I can actually put my hand underneath this position, and all I'm doing is preventing her arch from collapsing. That feels a little different there, yeah? Yep. You just don't have to work as hard at keeping that position. So I'm not doing anything here as a coach or a super friend. I'm just using this hand as a block so that Diane can come in and find out where she's restricted. And you'll notice she keeps coming in and out of these rays. She keeps coming into different vectors and corners because she can, that's where you're feeling that limitation, right? So she can noodle on that. And the basic rule is stay on something until you make some change, until you stop making change. But the idea here is how do we set this up so there's not always has to be a provider in the room. If we can get 80% of the effectiveness, 75% of the effectiveness of a manual therapist with every one of your athletes, that's the win, right? This is Farm to Table.